Welcome, friends. LostScarf here, and it's time for a spoiler talk for Avengers Infinity War. No review because you just need to see the movie. It is the culmination of 10 years. It is really good. It is worth watching. Obviously, you should be watching if you've watched the other movies. If you watch this on its own, having not seen the other movies, that would be a mistake. It's like seeing Return of the King. You got to see the first two movies for that. It's like seeing Return of the Jedi. You have to see other things before this. If you see only this, you're going to be lost. And so that's something to keep in mind if you're going to go check out Infinity War, because it's the culmination of 10 years. Holy crap, we see so many just storylines, just so many character arcs, just where they end up here. And we're just going to talk spoilers. There's a key point in the movie, I think, because the first thing that happens, which really hurts after Ragnarok, because we actually saw Ragnarok just a little bit before seeing Infinity War, is they're all that's left. That's it. It's Asgard is not a place, it's a people. So we're refuging, we're getting out of here, and then they get completely wiped out at the start of the movie, setting the tone that people are going to die here. And I'm wondering, because somebody says only half of Asgard gets killed, right? Doesn't Thor say that? Or somebody? They mention that, like, only half of them get killed, so that means that Thanos spared half of them, or they got half of them to evacuate, or something. So who knows? Maybe Valkyrie's not dead. Maybe Korg isn't dead. Maybe Mick's not dead. Maybe they're not dead. We don't know. But Heimdall's definitely dead, obviously. We lost Idris Elba. And what really set the tone for that movie, well, two things, is Hulk getting owned. He got beat. And I thought Thanos was at least going to have to use the Power Stone. He doesn't even use the Power Stone against Hulk. I don't remember him using the Power Stone against Hulk. He just beats his ass. That's how strong Thanos is supposed to be. And then you've got Loki's death. He couldn't do an astral projection kind of thing? He couldn't make a fake again? Did he really think he was going to beat him? Like, Thor's convinced he's dead. Maybe Loki's not dead. There's always a chance Loki's not dead. If they want to bring him back out of an outcry, they could say he didn't actually die there. But he's just dead. He just dies, and there were audible gasps in the movie theater when he died. I was like, whoosh. I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought he was going to keep working with Thanos and try to string along a later betrayal, the long game. I didn't expect him to just go for the quick kill at the start. And Loki's dead. Just holy crap, Loki's dead. It's such a surprise. And Thor, of course, thinks you're going to pay for that. And yeah, hopefully he didn't lose everybody, especially because Ragnarok was such a crazy ride, a crazy fun ride, and for that to be their ending, I really hope that's not their ending. That at least there's some Asgardians still alive, and he's not the last Asgardian, because that would really suck for Thor, because it truly is Ragnarok at that point then, which I guess is fine thematically because of Ragnarok. But and then what was it? Hulk gets sent away. I'm just talking about the Hulk really quick. The Hulk is he's either being a baby because he's never been owned before. Like, it's either that or it's... Well, some people are arguing it's Hulk feels not appreciated because he always gets pulled out for the big fights. But no, Hulk's scared. Hulk is scared. That is it. If Hulk has any other feelings about it, it's right now that's not the feelings he's having. Like, that would be an interesting thought, is that Hulk doesn't want to come out because he always has to do the big fights. But Hulk enjoys combat. But this is the first time he's ever been scared. This is the first time Hulk's had to be afraid, because he got owned. He got flat out beat. And that's true, because Hulk hasn't really fought any major threats to level up from, because the way Hulk works is he gets wrecked and then he gets stronger. He gets wrecked and gets stronger. That's how Hulk works. He just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And he's never fought something Thanos level. Next time he fights Thanos, maybe he'll be stronger, but I don't think he'll still be able to beat Thanos, because it takes time for him to get stronger. That's just how Hulk works. He doesn't know his limit until he reaches it, and then he goes beyond it. And he didn't even get to test himself. He just got owned by Thanos. But you get Tony Stark and Doctor Strange. Well, before that was Stark and Pepper Potts. And it was a nice thing there. But then Tony Stark and Doctor Strange. Is it weird just how aggressive they were towards each other right from the start? Or is it not weird? Because Doctor Strange takes none of Tony's crap, and Tony takes none of his crap either. And that I get because they're kind of both. They're both the guys who feel like they're the smartest guy in the room. Yeah, they're the same archetype, right? So they feel like they're the smartest guy in the room, and so it's just neither one takes each other's crap. So they're a little too serious with each other, which is too bad because I like them in the comics where Tony's trying to be friends with Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is trying to be more serious, but it's hard when Tony just constantly wants to be his buddy. It's funny in that. But they're so serious, and then the fight happens with Psychic Guy and the big guy. And what I like about that is that we got to see Wong. Wong got to be pretty cool for a little bit, and we got to see them do a team up fight against the Psychic Guy. Like the key attack they did, well, the key move they did is when Psychic Guy shoots like a bunch of arrows at them, Strange makes one portal, and then Wong makes another, and it shoots back and hits the guy, which was pretty cool. That was a really cool moment there. And of course, a mix of humor as well, with Hulk not being able to get pulled out. Like he couldn't get the Hulk to come out, and it was just a cool fight. And it was interesting to see Nanomachine's Iron Man. I'm like, oh well, he's got a lot of parts coming out, and that's pretty cool. And you're like, oh, it's Nanomachine's like, oh, Nanomachine's son, okay, that's interesting. Which is also really cool to see it later on as he loses parts against Thanos in the final battle, or he's losing more and more parts, and he has to draw from other parts of himself for the attacks. That was pretty cool. I like that a lot. So it was cool to see Nanomachine's Tony Stark. And they're doing that fight, and eventually Doctor Strange gets beat, and he gets taken up to this the thing. Oh, also there's Spider-Man going there to help. Everything. So Tom Holland's amazing. Everything with Spider-Man was really good. Like the writing for him and the acting for him, the delivery, it's just really well done. Gotta love Tom Holland's performance as Spider-Man. And it was cool to see, what was it called? Iron Spider? It was cool to see Iron Spider. But it's Tony going to the donut ship and Spider-Man stuck up there, and he says like release like number 27 and number 21. I didn't realize what it was. I thought it was just going to be an upgrade, some more stuff for Iron Man. But then I realized, wait, there's no way Spider-Man's going to survive up there. It's got to be the Avenger suit he was going to give him. And it was, and he got the Avenger suit, which he really needed, which was really important later on for them. What's interesting is I'm curious for the next movie whether or not we're ever going to get an Iron Man and Captain America talk, because we almost had that moment where he was going to call him, but it doesn't happen, so Bruce does the call. So we haven't seen those two see each other since Civil War. And that's interesting, since that's a relationship that's kind of core for a little bit in the comics. At least because they're just two different ideas on things, and they have not seen each other still. And they're still alive. And then after that point, I think it's Guardians of the Galaxy after that point. And there's something I really like is there's they only do like 3 or 4 groups throughout the movie, so that you're able to keep an idea what's going on. At the end, there's only 3 groups, but you're able to have 3 or 4 groups, 3 or 4 groups throughout the movie, so you're able to have at least some idea what's going on and not be there's not too much happening to the point that you get lost. Like you have some cohesive idea what's going on with each group as it's going. And with the Guardians of the Galaxy, what's amazing is the tones, they're able to maintain the tone while also shifting to the different styles of the different movies. Because when the Guardians show up, it feels very much like Guardians of the Galaxy. And when you have, like, when Captain America's scenes are there, it feels very much Captain America's kind of stuff. When, like, Iron Man stuff feels very Iron Man. Like, these are the main ones. Everything with Iron Man feels like it's more on the level of Iron Man until it clashes with Guardians of the Galaxy, then it just feels like a mix of the two of them. And same thing happens when it's Thor and the Guardians. And that's kind of why Ragnarok kind of worked really well, because it was very Guardians of the Galaxy in a way. So them together worked out pretty well. And just everything Captain America is just a bit more serious, and it worked out very well in those scenes. And so I like the tones going on there. Now that is an interesting thought, is combining Thor with the Guardians. I think Thor's too OP to be part of the Guardians at this point, unless he gets leveled down by Avengers 4. But you could argue that Ragnarok out Guardians of the Galaxy with how ridiculous it was in nostalgia and everything. It's ridiculous. Without being too nostalgic, just the style of it without the music. It was interesting. But Thor and them worked out pretty well. Chris Pratt trying to sound like Thor was amazing. That was a really funny scene. Like, you're trying to make your voice deeper to sound like him. And just the jealousy he had between Thor and Gamora was amazing. Because Thor is just like, yes, I too know that feeling and all those things. And when she was feeling his muscles and everything's like, hey, you gonna keep being so dang close to Thor there? That was great. And like later on, skipping ahead, when you have Rocket and Thor, this is the thing about the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. There's always that moment where there's some reflections of characters. And in 2, it's Rocket. In 3, it's Rocket with... Like, in 2, it's Rocket with Yondu. In 3, it's Rocket and Thor. And in 1, it's still... It's always... Rocket's always part of it. It's always Rocket and part of the character reflections. And so Rocket's just used to it. And just Rocket and Thor... Just Thor... This is, of course, later, but when Thor's like, yeah, I've lost my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my people, my planet. He's lost everything. Thor's been through a lot of crap. He's been through a lot. And now he's got to, well, he's king, so he's got to go get the king weapon. And just, wow, everything going on with Thor. Just, he's been through a lot. Well, he lost Loki, like and his people. He's lost so much stuff. Thor's probably been through the most out of everyone, in theory. Thinking about it. Yeah, Thor's lost the most people. No one else has lost as much as Thor. And then they split the party there. That's how it becomes 4 groups for a bit, is when they split the party between the Guardians. So you have Earth going on as it's trying to get the group together for Earth's defense, which is going to eventually get to Wakanda. Then you've got one half the Guardians with Thor. You got the other half trying to deal with Thanos, and then you've got Iron Man and Spider-Man trying to rescue Doctor Strange. And eventually, those 4 become 2 groups, and then they become 2 groups again, the half that are dead, the half that are not. But I want to know, where did you think the Soul Stone was, people? Because I constantly joked that it would be in Wakanda. Like, I was like, Wakanda's got soul, brother, they gotta have the Soul Stone. I think it couldn't be on Earth again. It just couldn't be another stone on Earth. They could not have another stone on Earth. Because they had the Reality Stone showed up on Earth, they had the Tesseract on Earth, they had the Mind Stone on Earth, but that's because of Thanos. But they had 3 already. They could not have a 4th freaking stone. That would have been ridiculous. But you got the Guardians, like Gamora found the Soul Stone, which I wonder how she found it. But she knows where the Soul Stone is, and when they go try to get the Reality Stone, they run into Thanos. And you get to learn about Gamora's past and everything. Here's the thing about this movie. There's so much laughter, there's so much there's like a lot of laughter, a lot of drama, a lot of action, and there's dark moments. And this is dark moments done well. Very well. Because we have Gamora straight up killing Thanos, at least she thought she killed him, and she is so distraught. So much emotion come out there. That's amazing acting going out of Zoe Saldana. That was just really good. Like, I'm like, well, wait, what happens now if she actually killed him? Not realizing the Reality Stone. I don't know how, but I actually got fooled there. I was like, what? How did she? That's got to be a fake. There's no way. There's no way she killed him. And it's like, you find, hey, it was a fake. But it was just such a surprise in her taking him out. He's like, oh, my daughter does still care about me. And it's like, that's just unfortunate. And it's just interesting because you do get to see Gamora as a child with Thanos, and just his ideology of, yeah, just kill half of everything and everything will survive. And we just see that reinforced. And that's what makes it so interesting is Thanos himself. Let's talk about Thanos. Thanos is the main character of this movie. So much time is spent on Thanos because everyone else is already developed. We don't get any new characters in this movie, do we? No, we don't get any new characters. Everyone's an old character. Only new characters are the villains. And so because of that, Thanos gets time to build up. And if you see this movie as Thanos as the main character on his hero's journey to get the 6 stones, holy crap. He goes through so much stuff to get the 6 stones, and they do treat it like it's his story. And yeah, you get him near the start. Well, you get him almost as the first thing you see, and he's the last thing you see. And for his side of the story, in his mind as him being the hero, he won. The hero won on his side of the story. He succeeded in his mission and his goal. And I like that his goal was this ideology of you kill half of everything and everyone can prosper and survive because there's just not enough resources. Instead of him just trying to date Lady Death. I like this motivation a lot better than that because that would deflate, I think, greatly um why you have any thought given to this guy. He thinks he's right, and he goes through so much in this movie. He goes through a lot of pain, even though he's this evil guy. He goes through pain, and you can see it, and it's very interesting. Because you got that scene with the Soul Stone, which, by the way, holy crap, Red Skull. No one saw Red Skull coming. There's no way. There's no way anyone knew he was going to show up. Like, everyone, as far as we knew, Hugo Weaving was like, I don't ever want to do another movie, which really sucks because Red Skull's a major character. And here he shows up for a little bit, and you're like, what the crap? Red Skull's here. And he just tells how the Soul Stone works. And the whole, you must give up the most important person in your life, basically. And freaking, and Gamora's like, you don't have anything worth giving up. You're not going to get the stone. Even if you do, well, it's going to hurt, so whatever. So Gamora's just really happy because she's like, you got what you deserve. And he's like, and he's crying. She's like, no, you've got to be kidding me. It does two things. One is the realization for Gamora that to Thanos, she's the most important thing to him, besides his mission. That's got to be something. And also, he's about to kill her. But we get to see you get to see that Thanos is capable of sadness. We get to see he's not just a one-note villain, which is very, very important. Because I think the reason why Loki's such a good villain is because we've had a lot of movies to actually see him be around and see him be a character. Whereas most villains they're one-shot characters, so we don't get enough time to develop them and see what they're about. Whereas for Thanos, even though he's only in this one movie, it's a long one, and everyone else has already developed, so they get to take the time on him. So, holy crap, Thanos. He'll go down as the best villain, at least for the time being, unless something can dethrone him. He'll be the best villain in the Marvel movies, for damn sure. Some things needed to be rushed. Definitely need to be rushed. Like, the relationships had to be rushed. Even though it's been 2 years since Civil War, you knew there was something between Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, and Vision, and we get to see that, well, they've been together. But, I don't know, I think for some people it might not be enough to really get the connection. And I think it really, really is all around. I can't remember the actress for Scarlet Witch, Elizabeth Olsen. It's all on her because Vision has to be a very lifeless character. So it's all on her to display the emotion of that couple. And I think she does it pretty well for the most part. The final scene, she does it very well. I think her grief is ridiculous. It's so heartbreaking, her grief. And just talking about Scarlet Witch, the scene when she finally kills the blue chick was pretty funny. But the final scene with her, when she kills Vision and the grief she has for it, and then the look of horror when he gets brought back and the Mind Stone gets taken from Vision. And Vision's he just pulls it out of his head cavity. He creates a head cavity just pulling it out of his head. Holy crap. And her man's just dead. She had to go through the pain of having to have the resolve and then going through with killing the man she loves. And then he gets brought back and then she gets to witness him be murdered for the thing that she had to do. That's so much emotion there. It's hard to put to words. That is an unfathomable grief and pain for damn sure right there. Reality Stone, we saw, well, that guy's totally dead. Benicio del Toro's The Collector's totally dead. He almost had 2 stones, too. The Collector's the brother of the grand... That makes perfect sense. They're both insane. I like Thanos' use of the Reality Stone, because he used, here's what it used to be. Like when he shows Titan, this is what it used to be. I suggested we kill half of everyone. They said no and exiled me, and they all died anyway. And he turns everything to bubbles. Like when we have that important moment where I'm like, he's not gonna shoot. He's not gonna shoot Gamora. He's not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it. Like before, that was the important moment of her asking him to do it. And he's like, there's. He's like, he can't do it, but he swears to do it eventually. He doesn't want to do it, but he's like, okay, that's what she wants. And then they admit their love for each other, which that had to be rushed because of this movie. There was that whole will they, won't they for the longest time with those two, and they had to just say they're together now. At least they acknowledge their feelings for each other because we're about to lose Gamora, so they had to do it. And it's unfortunate that it had to be a bit rushed. But it was a big will they, won't they that was eventually going to be a will they, I think. I like to think. But then when he actually does it, it's such a tense scene because she says, do it. And Thanos is watching. He's like, oh, okay. All right, let's see how this goes. And Thanos, like, they take the time on that scene because it's such an uncomfortable scene. They take the time with it. He's like, all right. And then he puts her head up to the gun. And he's like, well, you going to do it or not? And then after a lot of trying not to want to do it, Star-Lord finally pulls the trigger and it's Bubbles. It's always Bubbles. And it's just, and Thanos saying, I like you. And then they leave. Because he's willing to kill for the mission. Like he's willing to do, just like Thanos, he's willing to kill for the mission. Because Star-Lord swore to Gamora. Because that's what she wanted. And she would not be able to forgive him if he did not pull the trigger. Which we've seen many versions of that story in so many movies and stuff, where they're put in that situation. And in this one, he tried, but he wasn't able to do it because Reality Stone. By the way, holy crap, did you think Mantis and Drax were dead right there when they got CG blasted? I was like, oh shit, they're dead. Whoa. Oh, they're not. Okay. I thought either they were dead or they were just stuck like that. And it was going to be up to Star-Lord to put them back together. And they eventually are able to come back. But they pretty much very quickly got back together. Which is, my only assumption is Thanos let them live because Gamora would be extra pissed at him if he killed them all. And maybe she wouldn't tell him where the Soulstone is if she lost her friends. But of course, he does torture it out of her through Nebula, which, ouch for Nebula. Ow, that's a painful situation there. And then, like, Nebula's just there. She's kind of important in the comics, but like she might still be important in Avengers 4. Like, she might be very important in Avengers 4. It depends. I don't know. Nebula's not been as great as Gamora has been, of course. Really quick, though, Captain America, he doesn't get a lot of scenes. Because, like, we're supposed to lose Chris Evans and we're supposed to lose Captain America and Iron Man. Everyone thought it was going to be this movie. They're both going to die, or they're going to retire or something. And neither of those happened. And Captain America, when he shows up, it's so hype, it's so cool. And he does a little bit because he's the leader guy. But he doesn't do a lot. And it's unfortunate. He just didn't do that much in the movie. It's really cool at the end when he's giving Thanos like 2 seconds of his time, but it's just very unfortunate that we don't get to see a lot of him. And that's because everyone needed to have some time. Like, by the majority, I think the movie was pretty well balanced. Everyone had a little bit of time, everyone was able to be important a little bit, but there just wasn't enough time to make anyone really shine. Aside from maybe just 1 or 2 moments in general. Because, like, it wasn't just Captain America who didn't really do much. Scarlet Witch actually, not Scarlet Witch, Black Widow got to do a little bit as well. And so that was pretty cool. She got to do a little bit. I don't know, a lot of characters were kind of secondary despite being kind of really important main character at the same time. It's weird. And that's just because there's so many characters to balance around. Thor was an important piece, so he's moving around doing his thing. Peter Dinklage being a giant dwarf was pretty good. Because when he showed up, I'm like, oh yeah, he's in this movie. I remember hearing about that. He's just a giant dwarf, and they do the star and everything. And Thor taking a star in the back was ridiculous. Like, this was Thor's hero moment, where it was kind of, they were trying to match Captain America's moment in Civil War with the helicopter. I felt like that's what they were doing there. They're trying to match that moment. And once a dude taking a star in the back, I guess you match that moment. Well, I like is I'll do it, and if I fail, then I'll die trying. It's like, yes, that's what dying means. But they succeed, and they make the Stormbreaker, which is Beta Ray Bill's Mjolnir. Like it's not a super powerful. It's a strong axe. It's a strong hammer too, but it's Beta Ray Bill's hammer. Like apparently, so at some point, Thor and Beta Ray Bill fight over Mjolnir, and Beta Ray Bill wins. But he gives it back to Thor because it's Mjolnir, which is Thor's hammer. It'd be kind of dick to take it. So Odin has Stormbreaker made for Beta Ray Bill, and it has its own special properties about it. But in this case, Thor has it made, and it's his weapon, and it's a weapon strong enough to kill Thanos. So it's a way stronger weapon than Mjolnir, because Mjolnir got owned by Hell. But Thor showing up was amazing. That scene when he shows up at Wakanda, oh, that was good. That was really good. I think just owning the battlefield was really good. That was cool. In general, all the fighting was pretty cool. Like the final fight at Wakanda. Like, okay, if you see the trailer, there's so much misdirection, but you knew Wakanda was going to be one of the final fight areas. Like, everyone thought it was going to be the final fight area. But then there's also Titan, and then you only saw a little bit of Titan when you see Thanos punch out Spider-Man. Doesn't happen in the movie. But there's also the outright lie of seeing the Hulk at Wakanda when it's actually the Hulkbuster. And to Bruce's credit, he did some good work with the Hulkbuster there. That's pretty good for him. And he was able to kill that one dude without using the Hulk, despite the fact he really wanted the Hulk to come out. And they've basically solidified that Hulk and Bruce are two different people at this point. Because he's like, we gotta figure this out, buddy. And I guess they gotta figure it out. I thought Black Widow was gonna be in trouble and Hulk was gonna come out. I thought that's what was gonna happen. I think because that was a predictable thing that they didn't do it, and they're holding it for the fourth movie. Because Hulk is just scared. He got owned. He is scared right now. He don't want to be out there. Everything with Spider-Man was great. It's like, remember that really old movie Alien? It's like, oh, dude, you're killing me. That was a cool scene. It's like, yeah, there's a way to beat him. Was getting the guy sucked out and he froze to death, and saving Doctor Strange, and with the spider legs to hold him. And then it's just them arguing again. Tony Stark and Doctor Strange arguing again. And it's an interesting idea. Bring the stone to him to fight him. Like, fight Thanos on his home turf. He won't see it coming. And they almost win that fight, so it wasn't a bad plan. It's just, they're also bringing the stone to him. That's the other part of it. But they go to Titan, they fight the Guardians first, and that little fight wasn't bad. In the end, it was like, okay, they could trade kills, but nobody really wants to trade kills right now. And they're like, oh no, they're not with Thanos, and neither are they, and then they have their plan. And you have Quill with Iron Man and them. He's like, okay. It's a good plan, but it's a dumb plan. Oh, the argument with oh my god, with Star-Lord against Tony, and I think it was Doctor Strange. I think Peter was interacting with it. Was, yeah, well, I'm 50% human, and I'm a moron, you're 100%, so there you go. It was like I don't think that math checks out. Well, that was great. And then they have their big fight with Thanos. And it wasn't the best executed when they screw it up. Like, they have a pretty cool plan. They surprise attack Thanos, and it goes pretty well. They get Mantis on him, and they're all on him, and they're just they're trying to pull the gauntlet off. And then Star-Lord learns that Gamora's dead, and he gets really mad, and he hits him with a gun instead of shooting him in the face. That's one problem. It's just, Star-Lord just screws it up, and because of his screw-up, bad things happen, which is very unfortunate. I just think it could have been executed a little bit better. I don't know how, but having him learn Gamora died pre that, so that, I don't know, maybe he messes up the plan there, or just some other way, because they nearly get the glove off. It's almost off, they don't get it off, and they get beat at that point. Which, when he Power Stoned the moon, I thought he was pulling the whole moon down. I'm like, oh shit. But no, he just pulled off a bunch of chunks of the moon down, which is still pretty cool. But oh my god, if he pulled the whole moon down, I instantly thought of Chewbacca when I thought he was gonna pull the moon down. I'm like, oh, they're all dead. They're all dead if he pulls that moon down. But they get out of that situation, and they have their final stand with Thanos, and just it's really cool seeing Iron Man just losing nanomachines, and just still trying to fight him, and then getting stabbed in the stomach. And at that moment, everyone gasped because they thought that was the death of Iron Man. They thought he was dead at that moment. I thought something like, oh, he's gonna die here. Oh, this is it. This is it. Because earlier you had him with his final communication with Pepper, where she understood, like, if he's on that ship, he might die here. This might be the end for him. And he has the same feeling, like, yeah, this could be it. And he wasn't able to leave a final message with Pepper, which is very unfortunate. And he gets stabbed, and luckily, of course, he mends it. But because of Doctor Strange gives him the Time Stone, which, of course, earlier he said he'd sacrifice their lives for the Time Stone. He would not give the Time Stone. Also, Doctor Strange vs. Thanos was pretty cool when he did the whole multi-arm thing, which is more, I think that's Hinduism? That's a Hindu thing? That was pretty cool. And then when he just has a bajillion Doctor Stranges fight Thanos, unfortunately gets beat, but it just looks really cool. Everyone just does their best, but they get beat. And it's too bad Star-Lord didn't have his god powers. I was really wondering if his god powers would manifest in this fight, but it did not, so it's totally gone, I guess, at this point. Or he just doesn't know how to access it. And then Doctor Strange, of course, gives up the stone, and he's like, we're in the end game now. And I don't know if Tony Stark got it, or if Doctor Strange just needed to explain it but didn't explain it in time, that obviously this is the 1 out of 14 million that they win. Because, like, he does, like, I went to the future. I watched the future 14 million times, and we lost all but one time. And the reason why is because he was crazy enough to give up the Time Stone in that one time. Because I'm sure he didn't. He's like, wait, but what if I try just giving him the Time Stone? And so that means Tony Stark's important for whatever happens next. How the hell Tony Stark gets home? Nobody knows right now. Nebula, right. Nebula's still alive. So Nebula and Tony Stark are going to somehow get back to Earth, because Tony's got, like, nothing he can use. He's almost out of nanomachines. Unless he can use the nanomachines to make more nanomachines, which would be useful. But yeah, it's just Tony and Nebula there. Everyone else is dead. I thought at least Star-Lord was going to stick around. I thought, okay, we lose. Well, before we get to, I guess, just the final scene, the whole Wakanda fight happens. It's going well. They've beaten everyone. All that's left is to get the stone out of... Well, they're going to go get Vision, get the stone out of his head. But then Thanos shows up before they can even do that. And it's the last stand. And I think this last stand could have been done better. But at this point, everything's exhausted. Like, the audience is exhausted because it's been such a long, crazy movie. And Thanos is exhausted. So he just walks over and slaps everyone over, one at a time, gets them out of his way, and then he just goes and then, of course, Scarlet Witch kills Vision, which is so painful. And then Thanos just says, oh, he calls her little one, by the way. He pets Scarlet Witch on the head and calls her little one. Because he's like, yeah, I feel bad for you. I get the feeling. I killed the most important person in my life today, too. And she's like, no, you don't know the feeling. Like, no, he knows the feeling. And then he brings back Vision, pulls the thing out of his freaking head, which is horrifying for everyone. And then he's got all the stones. And in the moment before he's able to do it, Thor with the Stormbreaker right in the chest should have gone for the head. I was like, when that happened, when he gets in the chest, I'm like, oh no, he didn't kill Thanos. He's gonna snap his fingers. He's gonna snap his fingers. And he does. He's like, should have gone for the head. Snap. Half the thing. Everyone... Well, of course, he goes and sees little Gamora. And he did it. He succeeded. And now he's got to feel some regret over that. And then... But the glove is effed. The Infinity Gauntlet is effed after that point. And then he gets that... But it still works because he gets the hell out of there. But Thor's like, what did he do? And then everyone just starts disappearing. It's such a dark moment. Like, the audience was silent. Like, they gasped at first when they saw the first one happen because it's Bucky. But after that, they're just quiet. and then just slowly you see more and more people just disappear. You got Bucky disappears, and then I think Black Panther disappeared next, or like all the black guys just disappear at the same time. When Black Panther disappears, like, oh crap, Black Panther disappeared right in front of Okoye. Like, he says, get up, General. This is not, like, it's not the place to die, or it's not a time to die, or something like that. And then he disappears right in front of her. He's like, oh, the king's gone. The king's gone. Oh my god. So War Machine's still there. Falcon disappears. It was cool seeing Falcon and War Machine work together during the battlefield fight. But they're dead. Bucky's dead. I thought at least the arm was gonna stay. Which was a funny scene with Rocky Raccoon. He's like, I'm gonna get that arm. Those are the ones who disappear there. Oh yeah, Groot disappears. And Scarlet Witch disappears. It's such a painful thing for Rocket Raccoon. Because his best friend, he lost his best friend in one, and then he loses his best friend's son in Infinity War. So he loses Groot twice, kind of. And I thought Thor was going to reveal that it's Yggdrasil, because that's what Groot is. Groot is Yggdrasil, but he's like, yeah, I just know their language. He's like, oh, okay. Which that's a pretty good weapon Thor has. It's made of Yggdrasil. The wood is Yggdrasil, and then he's got, of course, the Dead Star energy and everything with that axe he's got. But Thor doesn't die. At least he's like the last Asgardian. I would assume whatever's left of his Asgardian people, they don't get affected because he's already lost half of them. He's down to a quarter. That sucks. And yeah, half of Earth gets killed. Of course, half of every population gets killed. I assume it's random. Like, because if it wasn't random, it would have been all the Avengers on Earth would be dead. And yeah, we don't know if T'Challa's sister disappeared, and we didn't see the spy girl. Like, I can't remember her name right now. She's not there. For Earth, that's it. The interesting thing is, it's all the old characters that are still there. The future's gone. Black Panther's gone. He's part of the future. And then of course, when you see the Titan side of things, Iron Man's still there, but you lose all the Guardians. The only Guardian left is Rocket. I thought at least Star-Lord was going to stick around. Nebula's not exactly a Guardian, but she's there. So it's just Tony and Nebula. But the scene that gets everyone, and me and Jinx, we joked about it months ago. That, like, if it would be insane if they had the real balls for real stakes, it'd be killing Spider-Man. Killing Spider-Man would be huge, and they did. Like, it's heartbreaking because, like, I don't want to go, Mr. Stark. He's like, holy crap, because he's hugging Iron Man, and he says that, and then he's gone. I was like, no way, Spider-Man. A lot of people's favorite character is gone because people really like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and he's dead. He's gone, and then Doctor Strange is gone too. Because the assumption was, if Doctor Strange is still alive, then he can fix everything. He's gone too. Doctor Strange is also gone. Before he goes, he says, this is the only way. Which I would hope Iron Man realizes this is the one out of the 14 million where they succeed. Now he's just got to figure out how the hell that works out. I like how dark the end is, because it's very quiet. The dust is just blowing. A lot of people are gone. And the last shot is Thanos, just in some green place and smiling. And that's the final shot, because the hero won in his story. And it's just, wow. And it just left, everyone was silent. Everyone was silent in the movie theater. They were silent until the post-credit scene with Captain Marvel being revealed. And as someone who doesn't like Captain Marvel, I don't like Captain Marvel. I don't like her in the comics, so I hope I like her in the movies. But I hate comic book Captain Marvel, so hopefully she's cool in the movie, because not a fan of her in the comics. But she's gonna be there, and her movie's gonna be like 2 months before the Infinity War. I'm assuming she's in space, because considering all the things that have happened, there's no way she was on Earth during all this stuff. There's no way. This is important stuff. I'm assuming that pager's like intergalactically signaled. I mean, galactically, whatever the word is. Like, it has a good signal on it, because there's no way. Or is this the Wonder Woman situation again, where why did Wonder Woman not show up for World War II after World War I in DC movies? So we'll see about that. Her movie takes place in the past, and then she's going to show up. And my thoughts on that is, I hope she's not the big key to save the whole thing. Like, I hope she's important, but that she's just not the one that finishes all, because she's coming in late in the game and we have no stories about her. Even with the movie 2 months before, we have all these other characters we're invested in. So it would be kind of messed up if she just comes in as a MacGuffin. But the key things is the fact that there is a part two, which Kevin Feige, he's actually said some regrets about that. He regrets them announcing Infinity War 1 and 2 before Age of Ultron, which they did. He's like, by announcing that, they kind of took some of the punch away from Age of Ultron. And also, because it's 1 and 2, when Black Panther disappeared, I'm like, wait, they got rid of him? Wait, that's a bit much. When the Guardians disappeared, I'm like, okay, that's really a bit much. But the second Spider-Man also went, I'm like, oh, they're bringing them all back. Because, like, that's too many franchises getting killed off right now. Now, if they keep it, that is ballsy as all hell. That is extremely ballsy. That's a lot of balls. That is a lot of balls. That's a ball pit of balls right there. Holy crap. I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're gonna reverse it in the 4th movie. Like that happening, like them all getting killed off, is what reminded me that there's a 4th movie. Because I totally forgot about Infinity Gauntlet. I think that's the name of the 4th one. I totally forgot about it during the movie, but when that happened, like, oh yeah, there's a 4th movie. There's gonna be a part 2 to this. Like, originally, when I forgot there's a part 2, I thought they're just not gonna get Thanos is not gonna get them all. Like, when there was a part 2, I thought he's gonna get half of them and he'll get the other half in the second movie. And there you go. But when I forgot there was a part 2, I thought, oh, he's not gonna get them all. He's gonna get really close, but he's not gonna get them all. But when he did the snap of the fingers, like, oh yeah, there's a part 2. So part 2, they're going to reverse in some way. Either someone gets the gauntlet, or what would be the most interesting thing, I think, is if the ghost of Gamora or something convinces Thanos to turn it back. Because he's basically the main character of the first movie, if he's still the main character of the second movie, and it's about him redeeming himself or just realizing he made a mistake or something like that, and he turns it back, that would be a hell of a character arc for Thanos. Or he just gets beat. Or we just have everyone show up and they finally beat Thanos and they reverse everything, and it's just who gets the gauntlet to do it and stuff like that. Could also be the way about it. But if they make it all about Thanos in that way, I think it could be pretty crazy. Jinx has a thought of alternate outcome, they reboot the universe. Now that's a thing. Because of how they split things up. Because of who's alive and who's dead. The old Vanguard, for the most part, is alive. And the new people are, or the movies that you know are going to have more movies are dead right now. And there could be an alternate universe where the old half died and the new half survived. And that could be a reboot of the universe. Or they could either have a new Tony Stark and a new Captain America, or they just move on from there. While still having Black Panther and all those characters. They could do that. Because there is rumors of a reboot. And I think the reason why there's rumors of a reboot is just because Marvel Comics has done reboots so many times. I think what's going to happen in the 4th movie is everyone who got erased is going to come back, but we're still going to lose some characters. We're going to lose Iron Man and Captain America. The question is how we lose them. Will they be killed off or will they retire? Because if they do the reboot and it's like, well, Tony's just not there and Captain America's just not there, they just don't exist, that's one way to do it. But who knows? At this point, Infinity War is very unpredictable. I didn't expect them to kill so many characters off at the end there. I really didn't. I figured... I thought maybe Thanos would get his clicks, but I thought Doctor Strange or something would put down like some sort of reality change for Earth itself and it doesn't get affected. Everyone else gets effed but Earth. I thought something like that was going to happen. Just some big play. But no, Thanos was able to get it. Or, alternatively, I kept thinking this might happen, is Doctor Strange does his alternate reality spell, where they did in the Doctor Strange movie, where they're just in a different place so they can't affect the main world. I thought he might do that to Thanos, so that when he does it, he actually doesn't actually do anything. But, or they just fight in a place where that happens and he's just stuck in there. But no, that never happens, and so we are where we are right now. The question is, does the movie will 4 take place right after 3? Or will it be some time? Will there be some fallout? They can't have it be like a whole year later. That'd be ridiculous, maybe. Although it's gonna take Iron Man a while to get back to Earth, if that's how he's gonna play it. So maybe they will have it take a year later. But they can't because Captain Marvel just got called on her pager, right? There's no way it's gonna take her a year to show up too. I want to assume the movie's gonna take place a little bit after 3. I don't think it's gonna be a full year later. Also because it's part 2. Like it's part 1, part 2, so it can't be a ton later. It's got to be a little bit later. It can't be a whole year later. At least that's what I think on that part. Because a lot of movies have been like they're going chronologically as time goes by in our world. But for this one, I don't think they can let that happen. I think it has to be right after. No, I think it was just a really good movie. There is a lot of really dumb reviews about the movie though, and that's just dumb people. But it's a good movie. It's very good. I think everyone who's a Marvel fan they won't be happy necessarily, but they will be satisfied. They won't be satisfied. They want to see the second half. They will be satiated, maybe, actually. Because I think everyone wants to see 4. So more like you're happy to see all these people here. It was a good movie, but you want to see 4 already. You already want to see what the hell comes up next. What would be nuts is the X-Men show up. 4. Like, oh, we got reinforcements. The X-Men show up. Why not? Or, I don't know. I'm really curious about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., actually. Like, are they just gonna F half the crew of that show? Are none of them gonna get F'd by the movie? Because they have to try to go forward, but if the 4th movie takes place a little bit after the 3rd movie, whatever they do is gonna be really screwed up for them, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have always had to try to do their own thing while being in the same universe as the movies. And I'm really curious how that's going to go, but I haven't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. since like the end of season 1, so I don't know. I don't watch it, so I don't know how that's going. I know my family watches it, and they're dealing with a lot of stuff with Hydra, so I don't know. I really don't. So good luck to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on that one. Honestly, when we saw last one, when we saw Samuel Jackson at the end, I thought he was calling Coulson. I thought, oh hey, he's gonna get Coulson in here. Okay, he's gonna come back. This is gonna be cool. It's like, no, he's calling in Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. Which, yeah, he's coming in. So we'll see about that. That's gonna be interesting. Not a lot of people knew what that symbol was. Like, oh, that's Captain Marvel. Like, I had to explain that to a bunch of people. Yeah, that's Captain Marvel. She's coming in, and we'll see how that goes. She's extremely powerful. She's very powerful, so she should be very, very helpful in the 4th movie. And I hope that movie's a good one. Coming up is going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I assume is pre-Infinity War. They just couldn't get that movie out. Yeah, so they couldn't get that movie out before Infinity War. I'm assuming that they just saw how things were with their planning. They're like, no, they figured Infinity War would do best around this time. And they're like, we'll just put Ant-Man and the Wasp after. And there's, what other movie? Well, Deadpool's not in their universe, per se. Deadpool's joking about being in the same universe. But there's a Deadpool movie. Funny thing is Josh Brolin is the voice of Thanos, and he's also Cable. I think that's it. It's just Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then Miss Marvel, and then it's Infinity Gauntlet, I think. I don't think there's another movie between that. I think there's always there. I think there might be there might be a hidden movie that they haven't said anything about yet, because sometimes they have that. They're not. They have their pieces still moving around a little bit. So there might be a hidden movie. It might be possible. And the theories people are having is Nova. They're really thinking Nova might show up because he's pretty damn powerful too. But then I think that would take away from from Captain Marvel. I keep saying Miss Marvel because for the majority of the comics I've read with her in it, she's been Miss Marvel. She's been Captain Marvel the last couple of years, because there was a Captain Marvel before her. But yeah, I think that's everything. That was an hour. That's it. There's plenty of theories to be had. Say whatever you're thinking in the comments, and just there's a lot to unpack in there. Every person who just after they see the movie is just them so distraught, which is the appropriate emotion. It's it's a punch right. It's a big punch in the stomach. So many characters getting killed off, quite a lot, and a lot of very likable characters too. It's just Spider-Man's death is just such a hard-hitting death, and a lot of people are big fans of Loki too. So his death, ouch. Visions, I think Scarlet Witch really sold it. She made it a lot better. If she didn't act it as well, I don't think people would care as much. But damn. But there you go. That right there is the spoiler talk for Infinity War. The next one, well, I guess we'll talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp in the future. But there you go. I have fun talking. Hope you have fun watching and listening. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Let's come by and see you next time.